in my ass.
I just banged your wife?
Name of this garbage show again that I'm on.
Total non-stop impact.
My name's John, capital letter E, period, Bravo, and you're listening to the Total Non-Stop Impact Podcast.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday Night Impact, and his mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha Skin Manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Non-Stop Impact.
This is Taya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
We are the Rascals. And you are listening to Total
Non-Stop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Non-Stop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah.
What's up, Impact Wrestling? Let's make some noise!
Sitting here, you guys got a 15-minute intro of putting yourselves over while I'm sitting here and watching J-Bone and Kalon and you're 50. I never saw a 15-minute intro of three guys putting themselves over.
This is the good stuff.
Welcome back, everybody, to Total Non-Stop Impact, Impact Talk for Impact fans, featured right here on the TNI Network. This is Tremolo Bill, and this is the Throwback Show, Throwback Thursday, NWA-TNA number 49. Bill, we're almost at that 1 year. Well, next week is the year.
Yeah, the year show, the anniversary show, and we'll talk about later the big announcement.
Big announcement that gets put onto this episode. But,
and you just see the fancy graphics when they do it.
Oh, is that in your notes?
It's in my notes.
I'm shocked on those graphics. I'm going to talk about it because, I mean, again, 2003,
even
graphics,
by 2003 standards,
exactly.
This was weak.
they've had better like intro screens for some of the guys, and I'm like, that's all we got for this.
For a major announcement, they left it on the screen for a long time too.
Oh man, we can't wait to talk about it though. So, but guys, how you doing? It's Thursday night, Throwback Thursday. We're back with the Throwback Show. We had a couple of weird weeks. At AAW come up there, some scheduling. J-Bone is still out. He is out this week. Remember, guys, a little personal issue he's dealing with. So he's not podcasting at all, not between this and Smash. So just Bill and I over here. And then I don't think he'll be back for Sunday either. So it's just going to be us. So yeah. How's it going, Bill? You're back in town. You had a nice little trip. It was not a road trip. I thinking you were driving for those.
It was a travel. It was a travel trip because you don't think it's a road trip, but there was a flight at the beginning and the end, but there was a lot of driving in between.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so, I didn't stay in one town. I was making towns.
Making towns, man. You're like an old NWA territory guy. So where did you fly into, and then where'd you go around? What was the
flew route? Into Orlando, so that was the base of operations. But went into Orlando, then immediately the day of, drove out with Dave to see his brother, who was like about a good 3 hours away. Mm-hmm. So did like 3 hours there, 3 hours back day one, wound up back in Orlando again. And that's where I was having the connection issues that night because it pretty much checked into the hotel right before the watch along on that Tuesday.
That's right. Yeah.
So then I knew that connection was dicey that day.
But you pulled it off. You pulled it off well.
For the next Tuesday, because it went from Tuesday to Tuesday.
Oh,
that first one I bailed out. I'm like that first one. I'm like, yeah. I went on a few times, but it kept going out. But then it was great the next Tuesday. So luckily, But then Wednesday, the show was in Orlando. That no. Hold on. Wednesday went down south to the company. Yeah, down south, but it was up north. 2.5 hours. So that was 5 hours of driving day two.
Jeez.
And then Thursday was local. That was in Orlando. So that was the local show. The No Peace Underground had EC3 on it.
Oh, how was that?
That was really good. It was a bar. It was so very small quarters, tight. But me and Dave, we were in a good spot. Like no one really behind us, and we were able to space ourselves out a little bit. But it was not a big venue. Like as soon as it was over, it was like, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
it was real tight.
Really? So are they not really too strict down there with their spacing and stuff?
Yeah, they're
because Florida's always been pretty lax since day one.
Yeah, Florida's the Wild West. It's not the safest environment. Anyone looking to go to shows, I would say it's probably not. Like the down south, because they're a big promotion, they have to play it safe. They're doing a pretty good job. But the indies down there, and like I went to ICW No Holds Barred, they did a good job. But nobody said you're in a bar. Like how good of a job could they do? Like they're the venue just wouldn't allow to be.
I mean, it is a bar.
It's a bar. Like you, and I know it because I've been when I saw Evolve there years ago with Galloway and EC3 on it. It was in a bar as well. Like that's just kind of how they run a lot of bars down in Florida at these shows. But it is what it is. I wouldn't say it's someone that's worried about stuff like that. It's probably not the best idea. But obviously mask up, and they are good about that because they're going on TV or iPay-per-view. But it's not for the faint of heart. So went from that. That was Thursday. Then it was Tampa on Friday. So that was about hour and a half, hour 20 minutes, hour and a half each way. But that was good. That was in the pit fighter style matches.
Cool.
And then the next night was at outdoor venue, like a pawn shop outdoor. So that was actually, I didn't even know it was going to be outdoors. But that was a crazy show. A bunch of stuff going on there. And and then Sunday I did the old Universal side. And I didn't say it on the Sunday show, so I'll say it here for the throwback.
Yeah, what happened?
But when I did Universal, so it was the first time I've been at this, because I would always, when I went down, I would do the theme park in my off time before the shows and then just go to the shows. So I did the theme park again. And while I was there, they had like a Macy's balloons thing for the parade that I guess may or may not happen. But in stage 21.
Oh, really? The old
Impact, the old Impact Zone, the original Impact Zone in Orlando.
The original one, yeah, like
the extra big one, yeah.
That's the one that lasted up until 2014. I want to say.
I believe so. So the first time I went there, when I went early, my early Impact Zone visits was when it was at 21, when they were doing the live Monday night shows. I went, and when Rob Van Dam won the title.
So 2013, I want to say, right? Around 2013?
Because it's Hogan's there. So it's probably it might be before that.
2011, somewhere around there?
2011. I think it might be 2011.
Yeah, it might be 11. I'm spacing on that right now, but yeah.
Because then, obviously, they finished at 19. That was the one, the last. 19
was one where I met you was correct. 19, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So that was not. So, they moved down. Because 21 was the old the last one was the 19 was the old Double Dare studio, correct? That was Double Dare. And 21, I want to say, was the old I think it was like the Family Feud studio at one point.
It could be. I think it's their biggest one. It's their biggest studio, 21.
Well, they were fitting about at max capacity, like the Hogan debut capacity. I remember was like they pushed it, people on people. Mm-hmm. They were at like nearly like 1,900 people in there or something. Like that one could pack in almost 2,000 if you really just put them elbow to elbow, that kind of things, which I think they did for that one. But that was it. Like normally it'd be 1,000 capacity. They wouldn't want to push that. So that was a pretty big one. But yeah, good. Man, that's cool. So you have to go in there, huh?
Yeah. So because I noticed it, I'm like, oh, well, because I tried to do stuff I hadn't done before, that anything new. And I'm like, okay, well, let me see what this is. And then I'm like, oh, it's near the back lot. I'm like, I wonder if I'll get close.
Yeah.
Because they kind of, with all the COVID stuff, there used to be like a secret entrance that was the same area of the Impact Zone near the Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster next to the Blue Man Group, which is kind of, again, another area where they used to use for Impact that they took over later. But that was going to be, because I obviously have to visit the old site, but you couldn't get back there. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if this will give me at least a closer look. but it actually took me right into the old one. I'm like, oh, this is great.
That's cool, man. Got to pay homage. Are some of the old Impact Zone cronies still sitting out there waiting for him to come back?
I was almost waiting, but I did check in with one person that I knew went to a lot of the tapings, that she worked at Universal Studios. So I checked in with her, and she was working one of the days. So I made sure to say hello.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Nice, man. Hell of a trip.
And I did. I think I told you guys. I don't know if I said it on the Sunday show, but
yeah.
Like I made sure to wear like an Impact shirt the one day, and I wore Good Brothers the other day.
Nice.
And I definitely got the comments. You can definitely tell there's still a soft spot from people working at the park and stuff. They're like, Impact, yeah.
Oh,
or like Good
cool.
Brothers. They're like, yeah, too sweet.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That is no. Listen, they were there for so damn long, and you know it. I mean, you're talking. At one point, it was no, they weren't ever weekly, but man, they were regulars down there. I mean, they were.
Yeah, the closest they did was when they did the Mondays. They were going every other week. They were taping a live and the next week's show.
Yeah, which, man, I can only imagine how expensive that got, man. Holy shit.
Yeah.
They
went for it. They were going for it then. I get it. But that's tough. That was always, if you can't go live every week and really invest in it, it was always not going to be what you want it to be.
Yeah. No, I was with some one of these Impact groups, you know, and some guys like he put up the ads from like when they're going live on Monday, and he put up the ads, and it's like, remember when TNA used to be good and would try things like this? I'm like, that was your measuring stick for like when they used to be good, they would try. Number one, it was not a good thing to do that. That was not the right thing to do at the time. Secondly, do you even fucking watch the product now to say, like, remember when they used to be good? They would do things like this. That's your fucking measuring stick?
No,
like, what does that mean?
like, I understand there was like definitely a Hogan, Spike TV. Like, the numbers were good. It was like,
2
if
million
now's
people,
going to be
man.
the time, you go for it. I get it. I'm not going to totally fault them that it was. I almost applaud them for going for it, but it was almost never going to succeed. But you bring up the whole TNA thing in the glory days and people that know it and don't know it. Stuff. Since this is the throwback show, I think it's appropriate. Dirty Dutch Mantel. Did you see what he posted the other day about live events?
I saw, he put up a photo of a house show that was very poorly attended. And he was like shit talking it. Well, that's why TNA failed. And I'm like, I wanted to jump in, like, number one, it's still around, guy.
Well, he acted like it died, like that TNA doesn't exist. It goes under the Impact name, which has always been, since the TV show existed, part of the name.
Exactly.
But it's the same lineage. There are people still there, in different roles. But no, it never died. It never went defunct. TNA Impact has always survived. It's never died.
It's never died.
Now, back then, he did talk about the marketing and live promotion.
Sure.
Yes, that was a huge issue. Did they play venues that were way too big because of probably cheap rent? Yes, they did. Like right now, they know the size venues they're supposed to play, and they sell them out. Kudos.
And that's what and that's the thing. I always used to wonder. I remember going to a house show at the Sears Center in Chicago. The Sears Center fits 10,000 people, and at the site of Bound for Glory 2008, you know, and which was a packed show. Why would you run a house show there? And the thing is, I get it. They probably got it for cheaper, but I remember aesthetically, it was terrible. I was like, it does not look right. I know.
Because even if you look at the picture that Dutch put out there, and you're like, because it's a huge venue, and it looks empty. But when you start kind of looking at where all the people are on the floor,
it's all ringside,
a handful of rows going up, you put those in another venue, it would look pretty darn good.
Exactly. Imagine that.
Like, I think it was maybe like 800 people, but it was 800 people in a 5,000 to 7,000 seat arena.
Right. Exactly. In like Oklahoma or something. It was a little town. I'm like, imagine that show. You know, imagine that near 1,000, let's say, at anything like somewhere, you know, any small DCW arena. That's a what I call a fucking sellout at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
That's a packed hot show.
Yeah, if you got 700-800 people at that arena, you're looking tight. It's a hot crowd probably.
What got me was I think they always did it for perception. They didn't want to be. They're trying to be at this. They're trying to show a big image. They're showing, well, we're going to the so and so arena, and it's like, you can go to the so and so theater. It's cool. We're not going to think less of you if you're not playing in the arena like your competitor is. You know. And I never understood why. I just never could get why. One time, though, you've been to the Odeum where Bound for Glory last year was.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a house show at the Odeum in 2008. And what they did was, it was a house show. So what they did is they just split the Odeum. They just did the back half. And it was a full show. It was a packed crowd because you just did half the arena. And they just left the other half for backstage, but they just quartered it off or just sliced it off. And there you go. You have a nice hot crowd in a packed event. I'm like, this is great. And I remember having so much fun because it was packed and it looked good. And I'm like, do this more often. But then they went back to the Sears Center. I can never figure it out. So it's weird. I never got why, but I just don't like. It kills me that Dutch takes these shots at the company like that. Like,
yeah,
I mean, what's the point of that? What is the point of it? Never got it, man. Anyway, besides that, we're going to talk about some good days, Asylum days.
Yeah, and just a heads up, sports,
good stuff. I'm just about to ask you about that. Great album by Huey Lewis in the News.
Oh, yes. Actually, funny. I just got to say this. At the No Holds Barred behind the pawn shop, at one point, I've been noticing they're using records in hardcore death matches right now.
Is that
and at one point, they pulled out sports.
Great album, though, man.
Great album.
It's like a perfect album. All right, cool. Let's jump into it, guys. This is taking place. Now, this is, goddamn, 17 years ago, June 11th, 2003. Now, Bill, it's only you. So I, as people know, was on Dave's couch watching it. We pointed up our $10, looking forward to the following week, June 18th, which was going to be the big show, which we had a huge fucking blowout for. I should get Dave on for that one. But
yeah.
Where were you, Bill? June 11th,
2003. That's after college. So that's
he's graduated. He's taken on the world at this point.
Taking on the world. Feels like I could do anything. I'm trying to think in that summer. Ooh. Honestly, there's a good chance. I'm sure I was kind of on the job path right there. I was probably spending my day like kind of knocking on doors, sending emails out like every day, like looking at like doing resume stuff.
Yeah.
And because of Wednesday, because I was, and honestly, I probably was even working. I was probably working one of my part-time jobs still, like that I had in school. I was probably finishing out one of those. Okay. So, but I was probably keeping busy midweek. Probably nothing too crazy before those weekends of the summer.
Yeah, that's true. This is where the term Wild Bill was formed. And this year, post-college, a little cash in the pocket. That's
a little cash in the pocket. It's hard to like because before like crazy wrestling, it was like I remember there was one summer in high school, like maybe junior in the senior year, where I think I did like a crazy amount of concerts over a summer.
Really?
Like I probably went deaf that summer because I probably went to like 45 concerts in like 2 months.
No shit. No shit.
It was like okay, let's go to a show.
I would love to know if you keep your ticket stubs, Bill, because you remember it was a thing in the '90s to keep your Ticketmaster stub. You put in like a shadow box or something, and people
I will say this: I have kept many stubs. Okay. I usually don't throw them out to anything.
Nowadays, they don't give it to you. You don't even get the
give
stubs
them to you anymore.
Yeah.
But I didn't ever do like put them like maybe early on. There might be some in like a book or something, but I never went. Okay, I'll go home and put it in there. And even like friends that go to shows like Dave, my buddy Dave and stuff, he would say like if I get something from a show, like I just kind of like I'll go home and I'll just like throw it on the table or something. It'll go it'll go on the merch table or something. But I need to probably spend a little more time kind of putting it collection wise together. That I don't do.
Yeah, it's not the cool thing anymore. But anyway, let's jump in. It was at one time. It was the thing to do.
It was definitely. But definitely the advent of online mobile ticketing and all that has kind of killed it. There's another thing we can be pissed off for Ticketmaster for.
I'm telling you, man. There's a place in Milwaukee, the Turner Hall Ballroom. AAW ran there once. Ring of Honor runs there and stuff. And great old school ballroom venue. If you want printed tickets, $10.
And that's what they started doing. They'll kill you for printed tickets these days.
I couldn't believe it. I said $10 for printed tickets. Give me a break, man. So yeah, total ripoff. But all right, guys, we open it up. We're at the Fairgrounds in Nashville, episode number 49, June 11th, 2003. The recap video of Jarrett and AJ and Raven. That's the main event, three-way. Get a little video to recap them. So kind of each guy's journey to where they're at today. So, the dramatic music recap, that JB liked to put together back in those days. But we start off with Ravens outside talking about his match later on with the main event, and Julio has a match with D'Lo, and he's like, no, I got him. I'm going to take care of him. I'm going to keep him at bay. You don't have to worry about me. And then D'Lo just jumps him and whoops his ass.
Yeah. And good old D'Lo, man.
D'Lo. I swear to God, it's like you forget how big of a part of the company he was. It was
funny. Yeah, because somebody mentioned about like if I got anything from those more recent pop-up sales. And honestly, I didn't have a lot of time to go on there. Once again, it's just falling on bad times. I was away.
Yeah.
But I did catch a few minutes of the one show. And
D'Lo
noticed thing with a Santa hat on and everything. And it's like I'm looking back because that's like the D'Lo I know now.
Yeah.
It's like, but going back and seeing this D'Lo, and as we said from his debut, how over he is.
Unbelievable.
The guy is like might be the most over guy in the company.
It still blows my mind. From the debut to this, it's crazy how over he is. And like you forget it. You tend to forget. And I was telling a buddy of mine this, and he's like, if you think about it, and when he came in, he was one of the first big guys from WWE to really make the jump, like straight from there. Like some of the other guys were like had that year off, that WCW, ECW year off. He was the guy who left there and just came straight over. So it's like you really you just saw him on major TV, and now he's here. So he was one of the first guys to do that. Man,
I dare say, with a modern comparison, is he the Good Brothers of that era?
In a sense, in a weird sense, yeah.
He brought the cool factor.
He did, man. Great, but he basically drags Julio in. He beats his ass into the. I always love when matches start like when it just started. But if imagine you're in the crowd.
That's the start of a good old school TNA show.
Oh, I love it. I love that Memphis style, almost. That Tennessee style where it just they drag him in and just start the match. So if you're in the audience waiting for the show to start, you're just like, wait, what's going on? You got to see these guys coming in. Not a bad match. I actually put down not a bad match. It was actually Julio's probably his best match yet.
I agree. Julio stood out in this match. I would even say because I was expecting after how that started. Pretty much a squash in the ring.
Yeah.
But he looked good. He handled himself pretty well.
He did. And even Alexis / Mickey James looked great.
Has she ever not looked great? And I don't mean just her looks. I mean just her role. Like she is such a natural out there. It's amazing. She's like an it. You can see the it. It's there.
You knew she was good. I mean, she was destined for something. She just had something. She gave D'Lo a crazy tornado DDT, which was fantastic in this episode. But no, Julio looked great. D'Lo does win with the sky high. Nothing too crazy, but it was just a big pop. D'Lo gets over. They cut to TNA and West. West is yellow on yellow today.
Yellow on yellow or gold on gold?
I thought he did a gold before. It was like very gold.
Okay, then maybe very gold because I was looking at it and I'm like, it's not like canary yellow, but it's. I first thought yellow. Not too far from our TNI logo. Maybe a shade darker.
Yeah, well, just like this logo we got here. You're right. It's not like it's in between yellow and gold.
Yeah,
you know what? It's like Velveeta, the liquid gold.
There you go.
It's like Velveeta. Gold. Where I work. We own Velveeta. And the entire Velveeta team got these crazy track jackets that just said like liquid gold on. They were cool. They were so cheesy, but they were awesome. Cheesy, good choice.
It's very nice. Company mad over there.
But I was like, how do I get one of those fucking jackets? They're like, gotta be on the Velveeta team, bro. And I was like, oh, fuck off.
I want to be on the Velveeta team. Although, you know what? I gotta say, that would be, I'd feel like a traitor as growing up a Kraft mac and cheese guy. I can't be a Velveeta, but I know it's the same company, right?
Same company. They own it. Yeah, but it's true. Same company though. We cut over
for our up north fans. Kraft dinner.
That's right. I remember my mind was blown when this Canadian girl I was dating one time told me, she's like, we call it Kraft dinner. I was like, that's a whole dinner. It's a fucking side in the U.S. man. Like a box of it's like your side dish. Sure. want some mac and cheese with what? A steak? Yeah, I'll take it. But we got a little video package of Russo's history, kind of recapping him in the company because he's returned recently at this point. So getting the whole Russo recap, how he jumped in, helped people. He helped Jarrett win the title. They show that clip. They leave you with that. Mm-hmm. They show when he helped Jarrett beat Truth with the guitar shot for the title. Very critical thing, and it didn't hit me till later on.
You're right. It came together later in the show.
Sure did. I was like, huh. Now that I thought about it. But remember that final scene because he's in the Mr. Wrestling 5 and takes out Truth. Jarrett wins and he pulls it off and he just throws the mask at Jarrett. And then you've had this arc for 6 months going on with these guys. We get let's see where we at here. TNA doing an in-ring with Disco Inferno, Glenn Goberti.
Yeah, Glenn.
And he asks him why. He goes, "What do you mean why?" And he's like, "Why did Russo turn on you?" And okay, Bill, give me your this was weird to me. This is where this show has broken fourth wall a bunch. Their whole thing is we'll break fourth wall. We talk about other companies, but over here we're treating it like it what it is. He literally goes on to talk about Vince Russo's the guy who decided to put the title Judy Bagwell as a tag team champ, who put the title on Arquette, who put Viagra.
Screw Bret Hart. He went over all of them. Yeah,
it's his decision to screw. I'm like, were we breaking the fourth wall? Totally. That was it. It was.
You're 100% right on. They go back and forth because this isn't the first time we've seen this shoot on other companies or people's past that are in Impact with other companies.
Right.
They do it often. It's like a way of cutting promos. And I think Vince has come out and even said he almost wanted this a lot of the time. He would encourage them. Let's kind of go there. Like the stuff we've seen with Raven and the drug addiction stuff. It's like, come on, man. It's crazy.
Come on, man.
You're going there. You're talking about the guy doing heroin.
Yeah.
For a promo for the sake of getting over.
Well, that's one thing, but straight up, just you're talking about the planning of the business. You're just saying
you're right. Now you're going even a little farther, not even getting too personal. You're totally breaking fade.
That's it. You're just he put the belt on Arquette. It's like, so who put the belt on?
Yeah, the magician's saying, here, look in here.
And I noticed though, they do that. Disco's done that when he had that little shoot interview a couple times, the interrogator stuff. That's when they'll talk about it. And it's like, well, you're telling me he decided to do it there. Is he deciding it tonight too? Or who's deciding it tonight? What are you telling me,
I can't wait till we get to the first of this because there's going to be shots fired all over this one.
Oh man. Yeah. That come on, man. But he asked him about that and then he's just down, just shitting on Russo. The crowd is not having it though. It's dragging. There was a boring. But here's the thing too. Disco, who's usually great on the mic, he was dragging this out a little too much. I felt like he was, and I think that threw people off when he's literally talking about insider shit. He did this, he decided to put the belt here. It's it took him out of the element. It took him into that real moment. They're like,
yeah, normally Glenn in his promos, especially in front of a crowd, are usually to the point. He usually kind of gets there. He's like,
Drew,
bang, bang, bang. He's an ABC promo.
Right.
And this was not. This was a little bit meandering. This was just like he was on a soapbox and going off with no real direction. It seemed. Yeah. It's just like shitting on Russo. That was his direction.
That was it. And people weren't having it. They started chanting boring and they kind of shit on it. But then Russo comes in with the bat, takes him out in the knee, and you audibly hear the "fuck you, Glenn."
Oh yeah, no, getting that out. Although there was many things blurred and covered up during this show, but not this.
We'll get to that for sure. The Harris brothers come in. He's doing that sibling thing where you stop fighting for a second, then you drag back out, start hitting your sibling again, and you
that's the classic wrestling.
Classic.
Break him up. Break him up. Don't break him up.
Nope. And then he was on. I mean, Russo was hot. He was on fire here. So they end that, and we kick it over to the debut now, Bill, of Scott Hudson. Because commentator for WCW, former.
Yes.
Had a cup of coffee in WWE prior to this. And
now I remember when he was there,
yeah.
he was actually on commentary, correct? Like he wasn't doing a backstage role from my memory, my brief memory of him in WCW.
Right. He was doing commentary for like the WCW matches or segments or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I recall I'm trying to think if he went to WCW afterwards. I mean, I'm sorry, WWE after this, because I know he left wrestling to go into like politics or something. He was like a councilman or something somewhere in Georgia. I think he went into politics. And great voice though. Hell of a voice on this guy. Like
He's got a voice, but I don't know if it's just me. At least his way of delivering as the backstage interviewer to me came off as very robotic and very, I hate to say it, Southern shindy.
Really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think it was. He just felt like to me he didn't add anything. He felt like he was just going through the motions, and it just felt like anything you would have turned on in the mid '90s from any promotion down south as their backstage interviewer.
Like
he just seemed very cookie cutter.
Like the very TV host, like we're backstage here with
It's just very nothing to it. Like Goldie added a little personality, a little something. He was just going through the motions to me. Milk toast. I think that's a very good one there.
There you go. Milk toast.
I was not a fan. If for some reason Scott hears this, Scott, get back into politics.
No, he's in it now. And yeah, he did the invasion thing first, and he came here. Like I said,
I think it's like more of a commentary role because we always have the debate. I know there's people that either like or dislike the current Impact broadcast. It depends on the roles. Like if someone's in backstage, but then was on commentary, or vice versa, it doesn't work. It doesn't always work. For this, I was not feeling it at all. And maybe it's my allegiance to Goldilocks. I don't know, but it's definitely. I felt it lost a lot because they go to backstage segments all the time.
A lot.
And I started dreading it during this episode because I'm like, oh, not him again.
That's rough. but you're right, though. He perfect example. A friend of our show, David Penzer, the ring announcer for Impact. Remember for that TNA reunion show, that one off in Atlanta, he did ringside play-by-play.
He did.
And he says all the time, I was rattled. I didn't know what I was doing. I was freaked out. I didn't know what the hell's going on. And we asked him, we go, you've been in front of 80,000 people in the Georgia Dome. Like, what are you scared of? Like what freaks you out?
Yeah.
And he's like, I've never done play-by-play. It's not my thing. That's the thing. Sometimes you can't translate over.
And they even started out, those first couple ones were like taped, and they even announced it from earlier today.
Yeah.
But then they started going live later, and I almost wonder, did they just like call them the week of or something? Like, was this a very short notice?
Fill in for sure.
Because that's what I'm almost hoping, a little benefit of the doubt. But my initial first episode was not a fan.
I think it was because he's from Atlanta.
Yeah, so he's definitely
it's a quick drive.
Fairly local in the grand scheme of things.
Oh,
he
for
might
sure.
Hopped in the with one of our boy Sanders or something. Hopped in the car.
Most likely he got in the van. They used to have a van that would go from Atlanta up, for these shows, and I think they were all just hop in and come on in. We go to him backstage with Chris Sabin, who I cannot tell me I'm crazy, but all I could see here is Ace Austin. I see what Ace Austin is today is what Chris Sabin was in 2003.
Yeah.
It is mind-boggling. Look down to the curly fucking hair, the arrogant smile, X Division champion.
Yeah, I was feeling so much I had to wear my Chris Sabin jacket today.
There you go, man.
I'm feeling all Sabined up today.
It's incredible. I cannot believe Josh Matthews hasn't even made that comparison. The video package.
Yeah, I know they did the early one for AJ.
Hey, yes, but
so
he's more
maybe they thought it
Sabin.
was too soon, but it's very Sabin right now, especially with Sabin kind of being a solo act right now. That'd be and we haven't seen Ace on TV. Like, I hope they go into this, they explore that a little bit more, maybe going forward.
I'm looking at Sabin here, and I'm like, my God, It's Ace Austin. It's what Ace Austin does today. He is the same age, you know, same. I think Sabin here is 21. Ace Austin's 23, right? I mean, you're in the same age group. You have a similar look, build, X Division, Prodigy. Like, I'm like, my God, it literally is. He was doing that, and even the way he talks, the arrogance, the way he's talking. I'm like, we're used to
that was his shtick, man. Sabin. He came in. He was arrogant. Really? But like it's like his first appearance or two, but once he got that belt, it was like, whoa.
I'm telling you, man. Well, you know, we see him as the veteran now, but man, he was the cocky young little bastard who came in, who had it all, right? And he's talking about he gets to announce his own title shot today, and he's like, it's gonna be Shark Boy, and he goes, come on, he goes like Shark Boy. It's like, hey, come on, he's heads over tails with the competition. That
was fantastic.
And then he looks in the camera and starts doing the Jaws music.
That was great. That was great.
Fantastic. We go right to that match though. Sabin and Shark Boy, X Division title online. It wasn't a squash by any means.
Oh wait! Didn't we get Twister first?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're right.
We gotta get Twister.
Oh my God! We cut first to Shark Boy and New Jack, the odd couple. The odd couple here playing Twister backstage, and it's right foot red. Shark Boy's ass right in New Jack's face, and he goes, "God damn, your ass stink! God, you haven't washed your ass in 6 weeks. Oh my God, I'm about to my eyes are burning. My eyes are burning. God damn, your ass stink! Get the hell out of here, Shark Boy!" He kicks him out of the room.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, if you're not done in 5 minutes, I'm coming to get you.
I'm coming to get you. He's like, "Oh my God, your ass stinks." Shark Boy's like,
couple. Love the odd couple.
Right to the match. Then after that, and not a squash. During the match, they announced that Glenn's been taken to a hospital because of Russo's attack. Glenn. Standard match, not too short. I mean, not too long or anything, but Sabin wins with a future shock. He goes to unmask Shark Boy.
He does. Yeah.
And then New Jack, his buddy, saves him. Jumps in there.
It's Laree time.
Oh, yeah. He gets him, man. Sanders jumps in there to jump New Jack. And they are announced to have a hard 10 match next week. We're coming to the end of the hard 10.
Yeah, this week they announced it's the end of the Alliance, right? And then next week's the end of the hard 10. Well, a couple weeks still.
Couple weeks, 10. Yeah. We still have 2 weeks on the hard 10. And the Alliance ended, because now you got the title shot coming up now. Yeah. So that's what it is. So, yeah, we're getting to the end of these. These are some bad tournaments. I normally have loved Impact tournaments and things that they've done. But this... Okay, I'm gonna hold that thought right there, and I'm gonna come back to when we get to the hard 10 match, and even the Asylum. I got a couple of thoughts to add on to that. I shouldn't say terrible, but we'll get to it. But
at least a tease of fairly terrible.
A little bit. We got Konnan and Truth with Scott Hudson speaking about the Harris boys, and the great line by Truth here was, "I hope you got your pooper scoopers, because we're going to beat the dog shit out of you tonight." So that was the line of the night. But you're kind of seeing the seeds of the 3 Live crew right here. You know, that's what's going on. This is the 3 Live crew. So it's happening about here. So we get that. What else we got? We go right to that match. Now this was interesting. Now, okay, the Harris boys and this Konnan and Truth feud. Number one, riddled with racist overtones, bigotry. But here's the thing. West and TNA, West mainly, he actually calls it out. He actually calls that whole thing out. He goes, "Yep." He goes, "No more racial slurs, no more biases, no more racist terms. We're about to settle." I'm like, so they're completely addressing it. So it's kind of like this weird act we were all in on, I guess. But
yeah, it's like he addresses it. I it's still like at a higher level, I guess he's addressing it because there was obviously some very specific language used that has been edited from existence. But they definitely were toying, like they were all in on this to a certain level.
Yeah, it's a little.
They went there. They knowingly went there, and you just wonder, like, how much of it maybe started maybe a little shooty, and they just worked it in to an angle, or was it an angle from the beginning? Because if it's an angle from the beginning, poor taste, definitely. But like we talked about before, like nothing that Smoky Mountain hasn't done, or like this wasn't as crazy as you think it was back then.
Exactly.
A couple years earlier, this was commonplace stuff like this.
It's
but
true.
for something that we looked at more of a big league of a promotion at the time, to be going there is kind of iffy.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, to the point where it's iffy when even on Impact Plus, which is shown nudity, has profanity, they had to completely remove the interrogators with the Harris brothers because it's that heavy.
Yeah, that's just too much. That's too much going on right there. And honestly, I think that was way before Impact Plus obviously was even around. I think that goes back to when they were probably putting stuff. What was their first format? Was it Pluto that they were putting this? Like, where was their first time where they were replaying a lot of this content?
I want to say Pluto, but I feel like there was something else there.
Yeah, was there something right before Pluto? Like maybe that's because I feel like at that time that's when they did their first round of going through all this footage.
Yeah, because it's got the commercial breaks in it. It's got the big like
commercial setups,
and it's a perfect break. It literally will pick right up. It's just a quick fade in and out, but it's right where you would know that they've edited it for a commercial. I can't remember where it was though. It was something before Pluto. I can't remember what it was. So, but either way, the match happens. Actually, not a bad match. It had a lot of heat, a lot of intensity. I actually did like it. This was like this paid off in the terms of it was like it had that intensity that I wanted these guys to have because all that built up heat for months, and it was pretty good. We get a run in from BG. He comes in, hits the chair on, I think, Don Harris, and then Killings makes the pin on that. So I don't know if the feud's over. We'll find out, but you basically have the 3 Live crew right here.
Yes. And if that was the end, maybe that's why it was such a pretty good ending to that.
Yeah.
Because you're right. This was a surprisingly good match.
Yeah. I keep saying it was the Fight Network app is where they first started kicking them out. So it could be. I don't remember watching them. I never watched them on there, but quite possibly because the Fight Network airs in Canada. So they might have been cutting it for that. Paul, where can you find the Harris footage? We saw it one time. It's on a Russian website. That's all we know about it.
Because somebody else asked that, and there was actually somebody that tweeted out.
Oh, really?
Part of it. It's like in their Twitter feed, not the whole thing, but the part that why it got taken down is on there. So it can be found. It can be found.
Yeah, it's out there. I don't know. I don't even know what you would Google to find it, to be honest. Like Harris Brothers interrogators. I don't know what you'd even look for. But it's heavy. It's heavy. It's not that we're all sensitive because we're pretty liberal on the show in that sense. It's even heavy for 2003 guys, and eyes and ears. That's why we were kind of like, geez.
Yeah, the thing is, there's a reason they got rid of it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna respect their decision to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's we're not really gonna harp on it too much, but you can find it. It's out there if you're really compelled to see it. It's nothing, something you haven't heard in a movie, I'm sure, but you can watch it. We get a TNA and Jarrett sit down. He discusses his and Russo's history, and he's like, "Look, we're not friends." He goes, "We're not friends."
Yeah, this ain't WCW.
Yeah, it's ain't WCW. Like, we were best friends, but we're not. I don't need him. I don't want him in my life. We're done. So TNA's a little skeptical. He's kind of like, okay, but he's like, all right, well, I appreciate it. We'll have a good match, whatever. We go to Hudson in the back with Goldylocks, Eric Watts, and Trinity. Eric Watts claims he is 6'6" and dreamy, and he calls himself Mr. Explosion. Now, this is not because of the show. He's just saying he's Mr. Explosion. He's just like, hey, I'm an explosive guy, but little did he know there is a Mr. Explosion now in the name of Nate Bach. But so the theme they're going for here. So they're saying it's a 3-on-1 match. It's these 3 versus Kid Kash later. And Hudson implies the relationship with Goldie, and he's like, you don't want anything to happen. Or he's like, no, I wouldn't I'll protect her at all costs. I can't have anything happen to her. And Goldie's kind of looking off like, huh? What? You know, like a little weird about it. But
great Goldie faces.
Great Goldie face. He says, I couldn't let anything happen to her. It would mess up the experiment. And then he looks at Trinity.
Yeah.
So they're implying this like threesome going on with these three, right? Which is great. I mean, lucky Eric Watts, I guess. But Trinity starts talking. You know, I'm from New York. You know, you can't abuse me. I like it. I like the abuse. I don't look abused. Blah, blah, blah. But then we get the debut of quite possibly one of the most important names in the history of the company.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. I mean, synonymous. I don't care where he's working right now. Synonymous with TNA Impact Wrestling. While they're talking, Abyss officially debuts. No name given. He's
no
just
name
that giant, scary man. And he just
they
takes
do
out
later say, who is that monster?
Yes, they do say that. But he takes out Watts. He puts him on his shoulder, like power slam style. And then he runs Watts into like this concrete beam. Takes him out and just goes back into the darkness. Think about this for a second. We're at episode 49. Prince Justice Abyss, Chris Abyss was on episode 1, but not as Abyss. He was there as Prince Justice. And he appeared maybe one more time, I want to say.
I feel there was a second one early.
Maybe a second one. That was it. But then Abyss does not come in till 49 weeks in. You know, and here's the thing, Bill. We tend to think like, oh, he's day one guy.
Yeah.
You know,
technically he was on day one episode, but he was not for a year into the company, and he's really not a factor until now.
That's the thing. And I'm like, he really was not there for a long time. But you know who, now on that note, I'm like, you know who really was day one pretty much forever? James Storm was there all the way through up until when they leave, 18?
Yeah, that's a long timer right there.
I'm telling you, James Storm, in my opinion, has the distinction of the guy. Like, he's the TNA guy. I mean, he made an appearance in 2020, you know, so like, but man, it shocked me that I'm like, wow, he didn't come until almost a year in, basically. Almost 1 year in, did he not come until? And I was like, that's mind-boggling to me. That really is mind-boggling to me. So interesting to see that. It was interesting to learn. Because we just tend to think, oh, he's been there since day one. Like, day one, show one, that's it. But pretty crazy. I'm trying to look and see. I got some stats up here. So he was in the gauntlet for the Battle Royal, June 19th, 02. And then I'm trying. I could have sworn he appeared again before this debut, because this is
if it was, I think it was fairly early, like first 10 episodes.
And I'm looking like here, and you know what? There's no history of it.
Okay,
and
so maybe it was just that first one.
Let's see, 6-4. Yeah, this was okay. Here's the funny thing. This was last week on the 4th. He had an explosion match.
Oh, okay.
Against Julio.
That's what I was wondering, if it was going to be explosion, but it was just for like this current set.
He does an explosion, and then and that's it. Yeah, he's not back here for us. So he was show 1, then he was show 49. Crazy. Or 48 technically with the explosion match, which, goddamn, can we just get some of these old explosion matches out, man?
Yeah, that's whole nother. Hey, maybe with the Impact Plus app getting its kind of revision, let's see it, man.
Look about it. In 2 weeks, the explosion match in 2 weeks, like, that is Abyss, David Young, and Kid USA, whoever that is, against 3 Live Crew. You know, it was like they had these kind of matches back then. Oh, Kid USA was Mike Posey, the referee, Mike Posey.
It was Mike Posey, correct.
So that's a cool. I'd like to see that match. Holy shit, you know. But
we talk about from the vault. That's from the vault. All that stuff.
I mean, they gotta have them. I mean, just throw this stuff on, man. Be nice to see it. But crazy to think that. It blew my mind. I'm like, man, Abyss, not till nearly a year later does he come back. And
I'll say this, Trent. If Impact's watching, which they may or may not be watching, I think we would offer to do reviews on all these old Explosion matches. If they would bring them out of the vault, we'll give reviews of all these matches.
We'll do it. And I'll tell you why. Because in about a year and some change, these are going to be over. We're going to be done with Asylum. So I'd like to keep something going for Throwback. So give me Explosion and we'll do it. Because there's some gems on Explosion. Absolutely some gems I'd like to talk about. So you know what? Guys in the chat, I want you to blow them up. Tag them. Tag Impact. Tweet them. Say, hey, Total Nonstop Impact. Could be found at We Talk Impact on Twitter. Is willing to do Explosion Throwback reviews. So put them on Impact Plus. Tag them. Tag the company. Tag Scott. Tag Josh Matthews. Whoever you have to. But let them know. We'd love to even talk about old Explosion matches. Because at the end of the day, it's going to kick up Impact Plus subs. So yeah. This is an interesting little factoid Hakeem puts out here. Talia Madsen, the future Velvet Sky, once took on Leilani Kai, former WWF Women's Champion, for an NWA Women's Title Dark match. Wow.
Now, that actual match surprises me, but not that Talia Madison, because this is around the time where she was making her run on the Indies. So that makes sense.
Yeah. Listen, that'd be cool, man.
I'm surprised they put an NWA Women's Title match on Dark.
Kind of makes you wonder, why did they ever bring the NWA Women's Title onto TNA Asylum days?
Because they didn't. To my knowledge, I don't think they ever did.
Never did. And it's like, why not? Yeah, why didn't they? It's kind of interesting. Like, you had women there. You had the partnership. Could have featured that belt, too.
Yeah, because obviously we didn't have a women's belt, but obviously we saw the tease with the X Division. Later on this episode, we're going to see a tease with another belt featuring a woman.
That's right.
But it's very interesting that there was a possibility to go to it, and they never did.
Yeah, true. So anyway, Kash, Abyss takes him out. Kash, he's like, what's going on here? Anybody seen my mug? And he's like, they're all knocked out. And he goes, well, we got a match. Muff, Diver, I'll see you out there. It's like, whoa, yikes.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around, Kid Kash.
No, he's something else, man. I love him. I absolutely. He's so out there. It's nuts. Kid Kash. Now Eric Watts is out, so it's going to be Kid Kash versus Goldie and Trinity. So the Goldie and Trinity come out hand in hand. This is the match I had mentioned where Trinity's top falls off
instantly.
Well, she slides in the ring. Kash kicks her on her back.
Yes, and he must have just stepped on the exact moment. The dude's got skills, I got to admit.
Yeah, precise.
He's like the guy that's
yeah, because it's like a broad strap. Because you saw her struggling to start putting it back on, but he hits it and it pops right off. And she stands up for a second. She doesn't realize it's off. Yeah, so she's hanging over, and so on Impact Plus they do blur it out. You get silhouette.
They didn't even announce it. Like they were usually in the past. They're like they put it over because they know it's coming. They didn't know it was coming, so they weren't prepared for that at all.
That was totally an error. But yeah, you could see what a pro Kash is at this point. He realizes something's wrong. So and then Goldie, to her credit, like she sees something wrong. She jumps up on
distraction. It's all distraction before she can do it.
He just leaves Trinity, starts jawing with Goldie, and luckily Trinity's able to just kind of go back and strap it on. It's like you could tell it's like bra hook style in a sense, and she was able to get it on time. And but
it's like the first time she went with gear like this.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I guess they never. I almost imagine her never doing it again after this.
No, but you got to imagine it was maybe 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds, probably the longest 30 seconds of her life. Because at that point you're like, Jesus Christ, I'm completely exposed here. Like it sucks. But when it aired on live pay-per-view, they didn't obviously not blur it out. So if you have the original tape
in the chat, we know one guy that has the original tapes.
That's true. That is very true. Dave's got it, man. But it was out there. So it was like I said, she pulled, but she got it back on. Then they had a fucking hell of a match. She jumped into Hurricanranas, flip over dives, all sorts of shit.
It did not affect her. True pro there, because the rest of the match thought maybe there'd be some hesitation here and there, because we saw during the whole Masked Luchador gimmick, maybe she wasn't on her best during that. Mm-hmm. But here it seemed like she didn't lose a beat.
No, I think she just at that point she's like, I got nothing to lose. I already lost my shirt at this point. You know, it's just like I got nothing to lose here. Might as well just go for it. But then all in and just rocked it, man. Totally rocked that match. The finish was fantastic. Well, the move towards the end, we get Goldie comes in, nut shots, Kash at one point. You know, she's in there, she's slapping him around. Trinity's beating his ass. He's going for a super bomb off the top rope on Trinity, and she reverses it into a super bomb hurricanrana, and the crowd loses their mind.
Nuts. Yeah, they're going crazy.
These things are uncommon in 03. I mean, now you'll see them on, you know, an indie show at a bar in front of 20 people, but in 03, a super bomb hurricanrana was a big spot, man. And crowd loses it, and they're going at some out of nowhere though. Abyss officially on screen here, or on in the arena, makes a debut, comes in, black hole slams Trinity, and just the quickest I've seen Abyss move. He slinked out of that ring quick, just slid right out, took her out. Kash does the foot pin, gets the win. So major heat. At this point, though, I started thinking, I'm like, man, you kind of really needed to give her the win here. I thought, you know, because he's beat her every time.
Yes.
You know, he's really, really taking her down every time, and she's not getting any sort of. And I think the one, if it wasn't here, the place it would have been would have been the X Division title. That was the time to put her over.
Yeah, it seemed like when that didn't happen, she's probably not going to see much success.
And that to me was you strike if you're going to strike while the iron was hot. That was the time to do it. You know, you could have put it on her then, and it would have played into the no limits. It would have played into the story. It would have been perfect to do then. But just now, you kind of are just, you know, now it's just he's just abusing her, man. That's it, you know, he's just taking her out, man. But we're still set up for something else. Obviously, you're probably gonna get Watts in between here, so this feud's not over. They're still gonna go with this, you know, apparently. We go to Scott Hudson with a debuting under this name, Devin Storm, which is formerly Crowbar, who was a friend of who follows the show. So Crowbar, thank you for following along. He was he started following us when we called out the original or the new church, because he was part of the new church as Tempest, which I love that Mike Tenay, when he comes out later on, does not, you know, play dumb on this. He literally tells us that, hey, this is Tempest. He was Tempest in the new church, and he under Jim Mitchell's spell. And look at, you know, he broke away from that, but now he's here as Devin Storm. So like, I love that Tenay doesn't treat us like idiots.
Yeah,
you know, because they're, you know, you got Hudson saying, well, he's making his debut. It's like, yeah, we've seen him under a different name, but Devin Storm, Crowbar, just cuts a very scientific promo on the Sandman. Would you know anything about this?
Just that he talks a lot about Sandman drinking alcohol.
He's going to use his blood alcohol level to get the advantage. I'm going to use that to get the advantage on you and stuff like that. Like,
and just for anyone that knows that doesn't already, like Crowbar on like Twitter, he's still cutting promos now. Like he films promos and puts them online all the time.
He does them in his wine cellar.
Check out Crowbar on the Twitter.
He is great on Twitter. He cuts his promos with some symphonic music playing behind him, and he's basically, you know, ripping on new stuff. Which he
is. It's because there is stuff to rip on new stuff. I know there was some stuff today.
He sits there with his wine, and he's like, "You people cheer and chant the dumbest things I have ever heard for a guy who grabs the genitalia of another man and flips him. How terrible is your life?" Like, you know, just take a sip of wine.
And I don't know on a bigger venue if that works, but I'll say this, man, if he were to come in with obviously crowds, do that on like a nice size indie, maybe an AAW. I think that would be huge, man. I think that would be great heat, because you know who he's talking about without talking directly about him, and it would be like, because that is the darlings he's talking about. But but he's giving you real, like they're shots fired with legitimate cause.
Absolutely, because I relate to that. I'm in his camp on that stuff. So to me, it's shots fired, but in a good way. Because it's like, hey, I like what he's saying. But yeah, the heat that would get would be fantastic. Was he?
It's hard to generate heat on indies.
Absolutely. Wait, Lakers, was he cutting one on the wedding? Oh, I gotta hear this. I gotta hear that.
We might need to reach out to him and have him maybe deliver a live one for maybe a future show.
I'm sure he'd come on, man. He was on Penzer's show, and then he does follow us online, so we thank Crowbar for that. He's pretty cool. He's liked a couple statuses and retweeted us, so we appreciate Crowbar's support. I'd love to get him on. I was always a fan. He's a Philly guy, isn't he? He's an East Coast guy because
I saw him within the last 2 years. He did some Ring of Honor tapings in Philly.
I remember that. Yeah, he was because I remember he used to wrestle as Devin.
He wrestled a ton in Philly, like as Devin Storm too.
He's a Rutherford, New Jersey guy. So
he's an area guy.
I remember seeing him on those Super 8 tournaments and all that stuff, and as Devin Storm, blonde hair, dressed like a rocker, Devin Storm back then. But he was always in the magazines, man. If you guys read the magazines, PWIs on the Wrestler, Inside Wrestling, and all that stuff, he was all over those, man. He was a young prospect who really just was like getting a lot of buzz. I mean, I think he went to the WWE for that light heavyweight tournament. Mm-hmm. Went to WCW for a couple years, and the Indies, TNA. Now he's having a resurgence now, but he's like a high-ranking physical therapist though. Like he owns his own practice, and he does like really good. Like he's a very well-renowned physical therapist. Dr. Chris Ford, I guess you can look him up. He comes right up. but no, it's cool. And he's still cutting promos on people, which I love. But yeah, so that was a little so you get the thing, he's gonna fight the Sandman in the Hard 10 tournament. And I think they said 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks from this
2
show.
weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah. Next week's just loaded. It's too much going on for a year show. We cut real quick. So we're getting the intro to this match in the middle of the rules of the Hard 10. Yeah. They cut to D'Lo and Bill Barons. And Bill Barons saying, D'Lo, you can't be here. You can't be here, but we got to get you out. The title match is too important. He goes, no, I'm going to let Raven know, what it's all about here with this. I'm going to take care of Raven. And he's like, no, D'Lo, you can't do it. And he goes, what are these two going to get rid of me?
Yeah, red shirt security.
She goes, this is TNA's version of Patterson and Briscoe.
Yes, that was good. For any of our younger viewers that may not know this,
yeah,
they were the original Stooges up north.
They were.
Obviously, there was many replacement Stooges over the years, but Briscoe lasted a long time. But like I know Joey Mercury, and Jamie Noble were, I guess, the last official Stooges.
Yeah,
maybe there's been more since then. But they were the original Stooges.
They were like, I mean, this is late 90s, and they were Stooges, man. But he calls these guys the TNA version of those two. But they don't imply if he got kicked out or not. Like he just said, well, I'll see about that. And he kind of walks off. So they don't really kick him out. So you're kind of under the impression that he's still there and he could potentially get involved. So you don't know. We got Devin Storm taking on the Sandman in a hard. Oh, so the match was now. This was the match. Yes, this was.
Oh yeah. Well, the one that's in next. You know what? When you say 2 weeks, it's after this match.
After this one, it's 2 weeks till the final, which Siaki's gonna face the winner. That's right. So again, I love the call back to Tempest. That was a good call from today. I gotta say, this is probably the best Hard 10 match yet. If you're gonna pick one, because they've all been really wonky,
I would say this one and the first one. Other than the first one,
Sanders.
Was it Sanders? Oh man, I'm blurring out on it.
Yeah.
Because the only time they did it, because it was like novel and they were just getting stuff from the fans.
Yes.
It was interactive, that first one. But so I thought that one was good, except for kind of like the back and forth, point. Like other than that was the thing that took away from it. But then, like the second and third one, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, it's horrible."
Yeah.
Like the table spots were just horrible in the those next couple matches. But this one was pretty good.
This one I thought was good. This one truly felt like a well-paced one.
It's all about pacing with these hard 10 matches.
Because there was that one, and it was like 1 point for Zoe, 1 point for Zoe.
That was the worst. That was the worst. That's when it jumped to shark. Shark. Boy.
Yes. It was. Well, we actually, you know what? Because you said that, we do have Shark Boy in here now.
I can turn it on anytime, Pat.
Come on,
no problem.
You turn on anytime.
Anytime, pal. No, it's true that this one had pacing, and it was longer. It had like timing to it. The points were dished out, more balanced. I actually didn't mind it. It was a good hardcore match, and we get Siaki in the middle of it, rolls down a shopping cart of weapons at one point.
Yeah, and I got to give kudos to Siaki in this match too, because we've been hard on Siaki lately.
We have. I'm not gonna say we haven't. We have.
Because I know he started out very high, very, very glowing, like, man, Siaki, yeah. But then, like, yeah, maybe not. But this one, it was a nice, it's a change of pace for where we really expect of Siaki. Maybe that's what it was. But he looked good in it. He didn't look out of place like you would think he would.
It's a good reset for him at this point. Mm-hmm. It's like something new for him, something new for him to try. And yeah, you're right. Because Sandman wins with a pretty good spot, and then Siaki kind of starts beating on him. And so you're right though. It kind of was like a good way for him to branch out a little bit, something different for him to do. And it's like, cool, here, try your hand at this, and it works. It wasn't bad at all. So not too bad. I'm digging Siaki in the hard tense. Not a bad deal. We go to the interrogators with Justin and Jerry Lynn. Pretty good questions. They're asking each other about each other, or TNA is asking them about one another. What do you think? Carol Pile Driver, Aldo Montoya, Mr. JL, and what do you think of Justin Crow, Paulie's politics? And they all got different answers. Anything in particular stick out to you? For me, it's the Jerry Lynn going, is it Metallica or Slayer?
Slayer. Well, from the beginning, you can kind of tell where Jerry's going about Jerry Lynn's ascension there and why he ascended in ECW. Like, why did he get to the top at ECW? Because early on, he's like, what are you talking about? Like, Such Incredible's like, what are you talking about? And then that just keeps escalating throughout the interview until it hits the fan at the end.
Yeah, because and he's like, what? He's like, come on, don't deny it. And then they start brawling at the end. At the end of it, they just take shots, enough shots, broke the camel's back.
The whole question is the implication, how literally should we take some of those implications? Is he going?
That's what got me thinking.
It's a fine line, because is it just like, okay, you were playing brown nose politics, or is he really insinuating something else?
There was it's teetering. It's
definitely teetering, and it's different than the whole stuff with the Harris brothers, but it does feel like a little real there. Not as evidence, a little more you got to read into it. But he goes some references there that definitely are saying either brown nosing or you were maybe a little too much
brown iron, I guess.
Brown. Yeah, it could be. Saying him and Paulie might have been a little too close for comfort.
That's where you're kind of feeling this is going. You're like, what's going on there? It's like cheap shots, but at the same time, it's like, wait a minute, what? So, but they brought. I remember.
Where are you going? And that feels so out of line for Jerry Lynn.
I know Jerry. He's to me when you try turning Ricky Steamboat heel, it can't work. When they try making Sting a heel, it doesn't work. Like, certain guys are just not heels, man. You just trust them too much, Yeah. You just like them way too much to hate them. And no matter what they do, there's a new kid on the indies named Braden Lee. Have you seen this kid anywhere yet? Braden Lee?
I feel like I did. I wonder if I saw him sometime when I was out in the Midwest.
That's probably where you would have seen him. He's an Iowa guy. He's got one of those faces. And I remember us asking, I go, what's your character? Well, I'm like a young, hungry kid. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, but what is it? I'm like, you have a face people trust. They want to back you. Like Jerry Lynn is a likable guy. Rick Steamboat's a likable guy. You can't hate him. So like even Jerry Lynn here, when he's like taking cheap shots at Just Incredible, I can't hate him. So the example I use is like, you gotta be Jerry Lynn. Like he's just he's just a lovable guy. Like that's the kind of guy. Some people have that face, and when you're trying to push that guy as a heel, it's just I don't see him as a heel whatsoever.
Yeah, you can't really take him as a heel. Like, because even when he's saying it's like you heard it from all the other ECW guys, like, yeah, waiting for that paycheck, Paulie.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he's going there, and then it's like, hey, if you put this guy next to me at the top, all right.
Unbelievable, man. It's true. So yeah, we'll see what that goes. I mean, these two had a big feud in ECW as well. Jerry beat Justin for the ECW title. One thing I know they're doing it for credibility's sake, but if I'm producing now, I would never let them get away with putting ECW over as much. Like they did
put it over. Best time of my life.
It's like, well, motherfucker, you're here now. Let's put over why this is important.
You know what? You bring up a great point, Trent.
Go ahead.
Because today, in today's environment, all people have to do is get asked about a promotion, get it fed to them. What do you think about this promotion? If they say anything kind or open to maybe working with them someday, they get killed.
Exactly. They get grilled for it.
There's certain Impact talent that have signed with Impact, but yet if they were interested, because they were fed a question about them, if they were interested, would you have interest? Sure.
Yeah.
But like a normal answer to a leading question, but people get killed for it. These guys are signed to the company. Well, signed as much as anybody signed the early TNA, but they're putting over this other company huge. And back then, nobody cared. But today, oh my gosh, you mentioned somebody else.
But like, and I get it's like you want to show these guys are from, but at the same time, like, hey, wait a minute, man, you ain't gonna sit here and put over a company that doesn't exist anymore. Man. Come on, man. Like, you know what? I'll play because it's second. Come on, man. That's been deserved on the show.
Come on, man.
but you know what I mean? Like they were going way too hard. I was like, come on, take it easy on this. Like, let's put over TNA a little bit here. But
well, we do next week. We'll have the 1 year anniversary, so now we can start putting over TNA. But
it's true.
We could say that maybe about even the current company. They brought it back for that time where they were going to have the show and did the one weekly. But honor your own past. That's what you got to be about. If you have a history, use it.
Yeah, and you're getting to the 1 year point is when they're really gonna okay, cool, you're in a 1 year spot. Let's take it from here. But cool. Next week should be interesting because these two clearly are gonna have a match. All right, where are we at here? We are with Scott Hudson again. You're right, a lot of Scott Hudson on this show.
Well, remember we would get like 9 Goldie segments.
That's true.
That's why as soon as I saw him backstage, I'm like, oh, we're getting a lot of them.
A lot of Scott Hudson. He's there with my girl, my favorite knockout, Tracy Brooks, and she is with David Young, Asylum Alliance, and they're taking on AMW for the shot at the tag team titles. And she basically says she's going to be the first woman to win the tag team belts. And then she starts flirting with Scott. Do you know how to please a woman, Scott? And as we go to the match, which is next, David Young and Tracy take on AMW. They do imply that Desire has been she's in the ambulance on the way to the hospital with Glenn. So she went. So they explain her absence by the fact she's with Glenn. So that's where Desire, as Jeremy Borash would say, is at this point.
I did shed a tear. No Desire tonight.
No Desire. She was not there.
An episode without Desire is not a.
It was tough. No,
I wanted the cat fight. Not as good an episode. None as good an episode.
Did not get the cat fight between those two this week. But we go so good. It was AMW taking him on. Daniels comes out for commentary. Christopher Daniels is out there. I love that he's calling everybody by their full name. Michael, Donald, Christopher.
Very Chris Daniels.
Yeah, it's very Chris Daniels. pretty standard match. Nothing too crazy. AMW wins, which I pretty much, you got to see that one coming. But AMW wins. Tracy tries showing her assets, doesn't really help her. As they
she gets near the end, that the low blow. For a second, it seems like, oh, maybe they will take this, but
yeah, no, I didn't think they were going to.
Nah, but they teased it. They teased it a little bit. That was her chance.
She does her finisher, which I love when today's like, there's that dive. It's like, say it, Don. The pie in the sky. So you can go ahead and call it for what it is, Don. The pie in the sky. But she does that, and
did they ever make a shirt for that?
They never did. How do you not? It's a missed opportunity. Especially when you had a shirt that said sex on it. I mean, you could have done a pie in the sky shirt, no problem. But they didn't.
I just would love to know what they would have went with that. Just wording, or if there'd be an image.
There'd be an image of a pie in like some clouds and a sun. It's a pie in the sky. I love it. Tracy Brooks, beautiful. Even just looking back, gorgeous. Still gorgeous. So they win. You have Storm challenges Triple X right then and there. He's like, "This goddamn that." He goes real country here, man. Storm just got cowboy as shit right here. He's like, "Goddamn, son of a bitch, goddamn Tennessee. We don't wait for no fights. Goddamn, you do it right here, bitch." But they don't do it. Obviously, they're saving for the 1 year show. Young is pissed off here and shoves Tracy Brooks, and Nurse Veronica runs in and then hits DiNero with a chair and then takes him out. So Nurse Veronica and Tracy are an item at this point. Again, I didn't think Nurse Veronica had this many appearances, but apparently
it was surprising. I agree. I barely missed. I honestly, when she first up, it's like a little familiar, but I'm like, I almost forgot her existence in the company.
Enough. Yeah, not enough to remember. We get Hudson again with AJ Styles here. He credits D-Lo for helping him, and the clue here, which if you watch to the end, you kind of may make sense, where he's like, you know, D-Lo, I was a young kid and I grew, man. I grew when I got with D-Lo. He taught me all the ways, and you know, I was so young when I've had that first title shot, and yeah, I've come a long way since. I've grown into a man. He goes, and like D-Lo always told me, it's like, do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. He's like, whatever it takes to win. You know, just that's what I'm going to do. Whatever it takes. Like, he's playing it off like he's going to work hard for it at this point. But that was like, I'm a changed man now, Scott. I'm just going to go after it. So he's a little creepy here. He's a little weird here at this promo.
It's definitely a different AJ we're getting here in this promo. It's probably honestly the beginning of the evolution of his promo ability.
Yes, yeah, because he was real rough in the beginning.
Real rough in the beginning. And this is kind of where he starts, starts not turning the corner, but approaching the corner of his promo ability. With that cocky heel type persona, which is fitting for him. That honestly, that might be his best heel work, his best promo work is as a cocky heel. It kind of fits him. So it's the right direction. It's the right direction. The only thing that you maybe could have said, because I know I was really hard on the match after he didn't win the title that first go around, when I thought the opportunity was there to make it happen. This time, like, his promo ability wasn't there like it is. It's better now.
No way. Oh, way better now, I'm sure. Yeah. It got better towards the end of his run too. But yeah, at this point, no way. He's real young, real green on the mic. He tries, but it's just not there.
Yeah, it's very forced. It's very forced. A lot of his promo work early.
It's very wrestling promo, you know.
Very wrestling promo.
But now, yeah, he eventually got very. I mean, now from my understanding, he's great. So it comes in time. I mean, he's been doing this 20 years at this point.
He's now Uncle Allen.
Uncle Allen, and he's going to apparently be on Impact next week, if what I understand.
Well, I see him Tuesday.
We might see him Tuesday. A phenomenal opponent will be taking.
I feel like he might be a little shorter, but
a little bit smaller, than he was. We'll find out. It's amazing. It's driving Bison crazy who it is. He's like, I can't figure out who it is. bloody hell, I can't figure out what it is. I'm like,
what a bunch of wankers.
I'm like, just pick up the clues, man. Pick up the clues. They're all right there. He goes, I can't. Last night he was texting me this morning. He's like, I still can't figure it out. Like, who is it? I'm like, it's right under your nose, man. Think visually, man. It's right. He goes, surely AJ's not showing up, is he? I go, just follow your instincts, man. It's right there. So hopefully he figures it out.
They're the best trolls in the business.
It's great. It's great. Now you get one of your favorite parts of the show, Bill. The announcement for next week and the major graphics.
Yeah.
Talk about TurboGrafx 16 right here. Talk about it.
If it was only TurboGrafx 16, Trent.
How about that? How about that throwback?
I'd have to go. This is like Atari 2600 graphics. This is brutal. I think Pong was better than this. This was. We get the debut. They announce it next week for the 1-year anniversary. The icon, the man, the Stinger is coming to the asylum. And the graphic they put up, that Sting is coming. And they leave it on that screen with just like standard white text with like the Sting going back and forth.
It's just like
it may be the worst graphic design I've ever seen on television.
And you know what? For that, it deserves this.
You've stepped over the line now. You've taken it too far.
Yeah, it was. You have Sting, who has been gone for 1.5 years at this point. Nowhere. The WWA tour in Australia at most. I mean, in the States, he is the only big name who hasn't reappeared at this point.
So this is a coup. This is a
huge.
And this is what they came up with.
And it's like the most, it's literally just text on screen. And it's just like, sting. And I'm like, I've seen what comes in the main event is our new graphic screens for everybody. And they're a little more elaborate and they got graphics. So I'm like, you couldn't put together a splash screen for Sting. Did this just get confirmed 5 minutes before the show went on the air?
While it was live? Like, that's what it feels like.
And I'm like, this is one of the biggest announcements. And I was shocked that it was treated like this. It's Sting. It's like that's it. Like that's how you put it out there. I'd be like, fuck. Like remember when Kurt Angle got announced? Man, that's the way you announce a major star coming. Like that was
heck yeah. You do a whole build up. Like he's not there, but you do a whole like walkout. You bring somebody.
Absolutely.
You got a big name to come out. Like, and then I think they almost know how flat this went. And we can talk because then Jarrett and make sure to announce it again when they go over what he's going to do next week.
Exactly.
But it was not a good for such a huge one. It was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, come on, man. You guys, because I did not remember this at all, how they broke the news. And I was like, I was
shocked, man. I was very shocked at it.
Like if there was a meme for me, it was the Fauci.
I was shocked, but like you said, they even go to it again afterwards with the way Jarrett does it and try to make up for it a bit. But we get to the match, guys. It's AJ versus Raven versus Jeff Jarrett world title, and good match. I mean, these three have great chemistry. I gotta say, like Jarrett or not. It's he does know how to work with everybody, and Raven's bleeding buckets, AJ's here, and back and forth, just standard 3-way match until a debut comes up here. Another name from the old days, and before he comes in, he tells you to cut the fucking music. No, he doesn't say that, but that's all I can think when I see. Good old the franchise. Shane Douglas.
Triple threat. Love it.
I love Shane Douglas. I am a huge Shane Douglas
and
fan.
They can all kiss my ass.
Oh man. That to this day, that speech. Were you there for that?
I was there.
You were there, right? Holy
the night
shit.
The line was crossed.
God damn. When he's like, with all the great names like Jack Briscoe and Terry Funk, the legend who will never die. From the Harley races to the Rick Steamboats to the Ric Flairs, and they can all kiss my ass, and throws the belt. What a legend. I listen to his podcast every week. I'm a big fan of Shane Douglas. I rock my
It's funny that you mention it because I didn't even know about it until like a week ago, but I found out Shane Douglas was going to be on a local show in Jersey tomorrow.
Really?
And I was like, hey, I'll go see the franchise.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen the franchise in a while. But then that show got canceled because of some of the new restrictions out there.
Damn. Dude, he's one of the best. But he interferes here, reignites the feud with Raven, and just takes Raven outside and beats him like a dog outside. He's out, man. He just takes him out. Raven's out of the match. They're going one-on-one, Russo and AJ. I'm sorry, Jarrett and AJ. Russo comes in with the guitar. And he's looking like he's going to take out AJ because he's got Jarrett's back. He did it before. This is the callback now. What Russo did to Killings to get Jarrett the title. It's the same setup at this point. It's the same. People are looking at it like, fuck, here we go again. Pops Jarrett. Crowd loses their mind. And they're like, this is because at this point they're hating Jarrett. I don't think they're liking Jarrett.
Like Jarrett was booed early in this match.
Big time.
And there was lots of AJ chance. There was lots of AJ chance. Like it was at least 50-50 their first go around.
Yeah.
I would say maybe it was more Styles the first time around.
Yeah.
Maybe 60-40. And at this point, they were teasing because Jarrett's been kind of wonky, as everyone likes to say.
Very flip-floppy here.
Yeah, he's kind of he's a 50. His booking's been 50-50.
Yeah.
He's a tweener right now. But Styles is the same way. Like, he gave that cocky heel thing, but he's with D'Lo, who's probably the most over face in the company right now. So, is he a face or a heel either? We don't know. But the fans are definitely eating it up. And especially when this happens, and obviously Russo's no face at all.
No.
So when he does this, you would think, okay, now AJ's the heel, but they're loving it. Because as soon, and we'll get into the promo that gets cut, they're all saying no as the answer to the question that Jarrett asks.
Yes, and absolutely. So AJ does win the title. Crowd goes nuts. Styles clashed him into the title. Russo celebrates like he won the title.
He's kissing the bell.
Kissing AJ, you name it.
Well, he's having a party in the back.
I love that Russo's there you could see the format sheet in his back pocket. That's the fun. I always laugh at that. Recently, because Scott D'Amore saw when he was getting beat down by Eric Young, had the format sheet. Classic Booker thing. Because Danny Daniels texted me and he's like, I love Scott having the format sheet in his back pocket because that's it. They just know it. Everybody knows that the Booker's got the format sheet rolled up in his back pocket.
I do need a callback. I need a Scott D'Amore hockey stick on somebody at some point. Help like end the match.
Wait, the hockey stick.
From Team Canada, Scott D'Amore, the hockey stick.
Scott D'Amore. I'm for some reason I'm thinking goddamn. I'm thinking Don West for some reason. I'm still in this match. I know you. Oh yeah, the hockey stick for sure.
I want to see him do a similar route. Like I don't want him to do it as often as Russo did, but I'd love to see it at one point. Just him do that same thing.
Especially with the Canadian flag on it too.
Yeah.
Russo's flipping the crowd off. No, this is where it gets a little. This is where it upsets me here. So I'm okay. Number one, and this part didn't upset me. I'm surprised they didn't save this till next week, the title change. But we get why, the Sting thing. But what got me was fucking Jarrett is up right away. Like he is up moments later, right?
I will agree with this. It's instant.
He's up. Like
he
AJ's
loses
out of the
by
ring.
the Styles, the guitar shot and the Styles clash, and as soon as there's a 3 count, he's alive again. Like
He's
nothing
alive.
ever happened.
I mean, they celebrate for like maybe a minute, AJ and Russo, and they stumble out, and he's up, and he's not only up, but he's on the mic, and like not even like you guys got hit. You should be solid.
Yeah, a little winded,
AJ.
a little something, but yeah,
like all right, AJ, you ain't gonna get away with like. He's just like, AJ Styles. Like, did you just not take a fucking guitar to the head? Like, what happened here? And immediately.
That no-selling son of a bitch.
Immediately. I mean, I literally wrote Superman Jarrett will not sell. gets on the mic and says, AJ, I get a rematch clause, and if you got any guts, you'll take me on next week right away. And AJ comes in. This was great. He comes in. And again, pissed me off. I was like, are you already asking for your rematch? Like, what the fuck is this? And then AJ comes in, and the crowd chanting no, like you said. They're just, no. AJ's like, well, technically, I'm the champ now, and I have 30 days to respond to you, so no. And he walks away. So this was a good shift for AJ. I'll get back to you. Crowd's just chanting no. Jarrett basically says he's a coward. You know, you're scared, you're a coward, you ain't fighting. I was on the road every day when I was champion, and you're already running. And he goes, how about this? How about next week you find yourself a partner, and I got my partner, and it's going to be Sting. And he's like, he's like, Russo, the Batman that I'm bringing with me, he's going to shove that bat right up your ass. And that's the end of it. So hear this out. The show where AJ Styles, the franchise of your company at this point, right? He just wins the title. And you go off the air with Jeff Jarrett, basically getting his one up here as the guy. And it's like, I get it. Okay, you're playing, you're trying to play face, but you're not face. You're still you're tweener more than anybody, you know. And I feel like it took away from the moment.
It did take away. The only thing that I'll at least give him credit for is because it was a 3-way. It's like, is he going to let Raven eat the pin for he can even look more like he never even lost the belt by not taking the pin? At least he did take the pin.
Credit to that.
Dusty, all the ending is, but he did take that. So I will at least, and it even says it in there. He's like, you won. You're the champ. You're the champ now.
Yeah.
Although he still has to get himself over.
He went off the air and like he got himself over. I get it. He's the heel, or AJ's the heel and everything, but the no sell bothered me more than that. I don't mind you coming off and setting up for the 1-year show next week.
Yeah, and the Sting, because like I said, I think they knew they did a piss poor job in promoting Sting for next week's pay-per-view. And to sell those pay-per-views, maybe the refs like, guys, you got to put over that pay-per-view. Well, what the hell? We got Sting next week.
Interesting thing, Lakers singer Jarrett does the same thing after Rhino beats him at BFG 05. He jumps right back. I didn't remember that. I got to watch that now because that upsets me so much. It's like, motherfucker, would you just let this
for such a pro that he is during matches?
Oh, come on.
It's stuff like that after matches where he can't help himself.
That's the stuff that people would pick on back then. I remember TNA was very loved, except for the Jarrett stuff was the one thing the fans would pick on a lot. And they'd say, oh, this guy's fine. I mean, it's a Jarrett show. It's a constant Jarrett show. And I'm like, this proved it to me here. Because I was like, dude, you got up after a guitar to the head in a Styles clash. You're not even selling. I get it. You had to get to this moment. But you could have been selling it on the mic here. He wasn't even selling it. That's what got me. He's like, AJ Styles. It's like, not even working it. Like, you got beat up. Like, come on. but that's it. That was the end of the show. That went off the air with that. We're set up for the 1-year show next week. And pretty big deal. 1 year was the first unofficial Slammiversary. And it wasn't calling it Slammiversary then. But this is the first Slammiversary, if you think about it. And it's a big deal.
Is 2005 the first Slammiversary?
Pay-per-view wise, 05.
That is named?
Yeah. 05 was the first anniversary. And which I think Jarrett wins the title on that one, I believe. That was the last one he won the title on, I believe. But yeah, this was the first. But to this day, they try to sell Bound for Glory as the big dog. It's going to be Slammer. To me, it's just Slammiversary has something special to it. Always does. And looking back, coming up here, Sting debuting at this next one is huge. Huge. So that's going to be a fun one next week. Jay will be back for that one.
Nah, that's a good one.
Hey,
and then just because... Oh, there it is.
So fucking good. Number 50.
So good.
Yep.
Now, I know you teased it earlier. I don't think we got into the full thing with the your thoughts on the tournaments.
Yeah, okay. So I like a good tournament. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind a good so, but this hard 10 was executed terribly to start. No doubt about it. Hard 10. The only good match, in my opinion, was the one on tonight's Sandman and Crowbar. Asylum Alliance. It ended up with AMW as challenger. Like AMW gets a title shot. But here's the thing. It's like if I tell you, hey, you're like, hey Trent, how do I get to the ECW arena? I'm like, yeah, take Swanson Street all the way down. You hit it right there. And you're like, cool. I'm going to take 3rd, 4th, 6th, 7th, and 8th Avenue and then turn on to Swanson Street to get to the arena. Yeah, you'll still get to the fucking arena, but at the same time, you took 18 other streets to get there.
You're saying just come through the front door. Why'd you have to go through the back door? After going through a maze to get to the back door.
It was like, that's what the Asylum Alliance tournament did for me. It's like, you didn't need to go all the way around because it didn't get anybody other team over to me. It didn't get anybody else over.
It got people on the show randomly, but it didn't really.
It got people on the show, which you could have done other ways too. And then you're running them coincidingly. Terrible idea. I didn't like that.
Well, that was the worst of it. The double tournaments,
messy, just too messy. You could have saved a hard 10 for later in the summer because you're coming up in the summer now. Save it for the summer. Make something your summertime deal. Wrestling was always historically down in the summertime. People go out more. They don't order wrestling pay. So make this your kind of tournament in the summer to keep track of. But man, that was just I didn't get it. The Asylum Alliance, they never did it again, obviously, but that one could stay. Hard 10, if you execute it, get right, is not terrible.
Yeah, I got to redo the rules.
You do the rules a little bit, and you have the right people doing it, and it works. But man, I love a good Impact does good tournament. They've been very innovative with tournaments in the past, Bonfagori series, things like that. They've done good stuff. You just got to do it the right way. This is a weird one. But that was it, guys. That's episode 49. So, Bill, do you recall now what number you joined at when you started joining Jay and I on this?
Was it near 30? Like a little bit. I don't know if it was 30 or maybe a 1 or 2 before 30. Something.
I imagine it's got to be around 28, 30.
Yeah, so. I think that's what it was. Because I know I for sure did 30. I may have done an episode or 2 before that. So
gotcha. I can't believe it. It's been
so almost half of them.
Almost, man. That's crazy to think, guys. That Jay and I took this idea almost a year ago now at this point to do it, and definitely not looking back. I mean, no regrets. It's been some of the most fun to rewatch these. Some of the most fun I'm ever having, and I hope
I get the feeling that Jay probably watched it.
I think he did.
Because I know he made the background here, which we thank him for. Yes. So I'm thinking that by doing this, he probably did watch the show. So
yeah. Well, Paul knows right here. You joined at 29.
There you go, Paul. Thank you.
He knew right away.
The episode before. All right, there you go.
Very nice. So Hakeem's got a new article coming out, guys. Check this out. Let me plug in for him real quick on the show. Top 10 TNA females who predate the Knockouts division, which a few from this show is. Oh, that's going to be a good article, Hakeem. I like it. I like that a lot. Tweet that out.
That's an early TNA one. I like it.
Tag us in that one, Hakeem. Put us on Twitter on that one. So I want to retweet that out. That's a fun one for sure. But guys, that's it, man. So don't forget, we did the weekly show, Total Nonstop Impact. Bill, Alicia, and I did that on Tuesday. That's out. That's floating around. Good numbers, Bill, by the way. We did pretty good on that one this week. It was a good week. Real early good numbers. So thank you guys for all tuning in on that too. That's out. We got the throwbacks every Thursday. Sunday nights, the Impact Plus Weekly and the Open Forum show. That's going on. I do want to start adding some random Twitch chats in here once in a while. Like there's been nights where I'm just kind of like, I just want to jump on Twitch to add everybody. So I just haven't gotten around to it, but I want to start doing that kind of stuff. So Bill, feel free. I'll tell Jay. It's pretty much one of those things, guys. If any of us are ever feeling saucy, we might just do it. So
we'll call it the Saucy Show.
The Saucy Show. It's just a bullshit around kind of thing, maybe talk matches or something. So we might start doing that. Just Twitch exclusive, just Twitch content. So keep an eye for that. I want to start doing that here and there. We're going to start planning our Patreon stuff coming up pretty soon too, guys. So
and then big sale coming up.
Big sale starting next week. ProWrestlingTees.com/Total Nonstop Impact. Huge sale. They said it's going to be the biggest one of the year, so which it usually is. So get your lists ready. Get your shopping cart ready now, because then you can just hit buy when it goes live next Friday. So keep an eye, get a TNI t-shirt.
Yeah, I believe the earlier you do it, the more you'll get. I think there'll be some free stuff. There might be some incentives with shipping and stuff. So sounds pretty good.
Plus, if you get them in early, you're more likely to get it early because if it's a big sale,
if you're near the end of the list, it could be a while.
I waited nearly a month for t-shirts from that one
like
time.
You might not hit Christmas if you're at the end of that sale.
Yeah, and I live 3 miles away from
Chicago.
that. They're only like that way. I mean, 5 miles away from, and it took me three weeks.
Now, you're obviously the expert on what's going on there, and I don't know this. Are they? Because I think they're having even deals at their retail location, but I don't know. Is stuff open?
Store retail is open. It's a weird.
So it probably will be open. Okay.
Yeah, but their hours suck. I gotta say, their hours are like
that's always the case.
If you
have a job, you can't get there.
You're not gonna make it. I gotta tell them. I gotta say,
unless you're close enough for lunch to go grab something.
That's usually what it is. I gotta tell them, you guys gotta stay open at least one night a week where you're open nighttime, like evening hours, so people can come pick stuff up. But their hours are like 11 to 3:30 p.m. It's like, what's gonna get there then? Like, when am I supposed to go there? So weird hours. But anyway, keep an eye for the sale, guys. Twitch.tv/Total Nonstop Impact. We are available on all audio podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Geo7, Pandora, and Amazon Podcast. Your Alexa will play us if you ask her to, very nicely. So get it on that. Rate, review, subscribe to all that. YouTube, Total Nonstop Impact. Just give us a sub and a like. This video goes up there too as well, guys. Twitch.tv/Total Nonstop Impact. Get on that. Tomorrow, Bison and Joe have a new show coming out from TNI UK. Thoughts on Turning Point, Fallout, and just current happenings, things that are going on at Impact right now. So things that are coming up, Rascals leaving, all that kind of stuff. So all the current buzz. Check that out. It's supposed to be going up around, I want to say, probably noon, lunchtime-ish U.S. time. So evening UK, keep an eye for that. I got to get that done first thing in the morning. It'll be up on the channels and on the audio stuff. So keep an eye for that, guys.
Maybe about who Uncle Alan might be.
He's guessing. I know.
Who will be phenomenal? Not who Uncle Alan will be. Who will be the phenomenal one on Tuesday?
The phenomenal. Who's going to be the phenomenal guest this coming Tuesday? Which Bison is still trying to guess. So keep an eye for that, guys. I think that's going to. So remember, Tuesday nights. Watch along. Bill did a great job hosting that. The watch along during Impact on Access TV. Then we go live with the review show right after that. So thank you for all the new listeners. A lot of new people tuning into us, guys. Thanks for being a part of the team here.
Definitely. Confirmed for that. We'll be doing the watch along again. Like if you are from the UK or from out of the country, you can watch our co-stream.
Yes.
And we're doing it the right way, but you can watch with us. So
we're an official co-streamer with them. So we're not doing anything, we're not doing anything wrong with broadcasting anything illegally. But check that out, guys. That'll be Tuesday. And then I think that give us a follow at We Talk Impact on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all social medias at We Talk Impact. And give us a follow and a interaction there. Oh, Bill, plug your personal Twitter. I'm going all out of order on the plugs today.
You can follow me on Twitter and the Instagram at my name at William M. Gardner, GARDNER.
Very nice, guys. You get me.
And also follow us on the Discord too.
Discord as well. The link's in the description here, guys. Get the Discord link. Join us on Discord. Truck holds court in the Discord. Guys, you get me over at Trent Zuberi over on Twitter. And give me a follow there, or Hemi Music over on Twitter and Instagram. The nurse just jumped in. The nurse, guys, how about this? She's a frontliner. She's on the front line. She just worked like a 17-hour day or something. Oh. It is insanity what she just did. So give a thanks
Heroes
to the
don't
nurse.
Wear capes.
That's right. Heroes don't wear capes. She's definitely a hero, and she must be dead tired right now. So we're gonna let her sleep. We're gonna get out of here, guys. We'll see you Sunday night for the Open Forum show. Go watch Explosion. Be ready for that. Your Impact Plus should be working now. If it's not, let us know. Hopefully, we can maybe figure something out together if you want. Tweet us at We Talk Impact. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Sunday. Be safe, everybody. Good night.
Find me the name of this garbage show again that I'm on.
Total Nonstop Impact.
My name's John, capital letter E, period, Bravo, and you're listening to the Total Nonstop Impact Podcast.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday Night Impact, and his mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha Skin Manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Non-Stop Impact.
This is Taya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
We are the Rascals. And you are listening to Total
Non-Stop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Non-Stop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.